of How Grandma and Grandpa Wilcox Met by Angie, the favorite cousin.
Grandpa Arthur Wilcox was a traveling part-time salesman, but also,
Yeah, he told me.
preaching and everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he also was a salesman. But anyway, he was the youngest. He was the baby in his family, and so he was like he would go out, went out, to make his living and his money, just like however he could.
Right.
So he was from. At that time, he was from Montana. So he was traveling around and everything, and he ended up in South Dakota, and which is where Grandma's parents lived.
Was that in Mitchell, or was that just around? I mean, I know Dad was born in Mitchell.
I don't know if that was in Mitchell. I can tell you if I look it up in my genealogy, in my family tree book. But Grandpa Matheny, Grandpa Myron Matheny, and the farm was in South Dakota.
Oh.
So our Grandpa Arthur, Grandpa Wilcox, arrived in South Dakota, and he went and applied to be a hired hand at Great Grandpa Matheny's farm. And Grandma was the youngest girl. But she looked, she looked kind of mature for her age. Well, Grandpa and another guy both hired on at the same time as hired hands. And Grandpa saw her, as soon as he saw her, when he hired on, he saw her and he said, I'm going to marry her, and because she was so beautiful, and he was like in his 20s. He was like 21 or something. He didn't realize it, she was 15. So he ended up having to wait for her. At the time, she was attracted to the other hired hand. She didn't like our grandpa at all, and especially, as he was working and everything, she thought he had a bit of a temper, which she didn't appreciate. She was like, I could never be with anybody who has a temper, any kind of a temper like that or whatever. And so she liked the other guy quite a lot. My grandpa was sure he was going to marry her, and so he really booed her and everything. Well, they got to be very close. They listened to they had like the phonographs with the circular records, and they'd listen to those, and they loved music a lot.
I wondered where I got that from, because my mom never really liked music.
It was a major part of their beginning relationship, was the music. And Grandma Matheny really liked our Grandpa Arthur, and she thought he was the perfect mate for Bessie, Grandma Bessie. And but at some point, Grandma Bessie's teacher told her negative things about marriage, which she was very young, and on the farm and everything, so kind of naive. And so she got scared, and she backed off, and they broke up. And then Grandpa moved. After he moved, Grandma Lena Matheny, Great Grandma Lena Matheny, was so sure he was the right one for Grandma Bessie that she kept writing to Grandpa Arthur. And we have those letters, or we did before the flood. Mom says we still do somewhere. So there was correspondence between our grandparents, and then it dropped because our grandma got scared and they broke up. Well, our great grandma was like, no.
She wasn't going to let go of that one.
No. He's the right one for her. so she kept writing to him, and we have those letters, and like I've read them, like don't give up on Bessie, and
Wow.
you're the perfect man for her, and everything and all that, and so you go through reading the letters sequentially, and then you get to this postcard, and you know how postcards used to be like really, really fancy.
Yeah.
There you are. Maple syrup's up front for you ladies. Nope. Yes, it is. That's maple. And blueberry blackberry with the apricot.
Thank you.
So it was one of those old-fashioned, really intricate postcards at Christmas time. Bessie sent to Arthur. And she was kind of that funny, cryptic stuff in it, like, kind of like a little dig in it. But it was the first correspondence since the breakup. And when you get to that, it's really funny because I don't know if you've heard that country song. It's Mom and Dad's song, where he pulls out the letter and it's all worn, and you could tell that it was in his pocket for so long. This card was so much more worn than any of the other letters or anything before. So you could tell that he had, once she had finally, broken down and made contact herself with him again, that he had carried it around with him and everything. And so, yeah, they got back together, and they went into Mitchell, I'm sure it was Mitchell, and on like a day trip, and they got their picture taken outside of the courthouse in Mitchell, and Grandma's best friend, they were gal mates at school.
Oh, okay.
Saw the picture, and she had always been real jealous of Grandma over Grandpa, and she had been like going after Grandpa. She wanted Grandpa for herself, like, to the point where like she'd chase him, literally, or try to, grab him away from Grandpa. And I guess at one point, Grandma and her it's hard to believe about our Grandma, but Grandma and her actually got into a actual cat fight, pulling hair and everything over Grandpa, and Grandma was like, no, you are not going to have him,
That's awesome.
He's mine, and so anyway, this gal saw the picture of Grandma and Grandpa outside the courthouse when they were like courting, and it happened to be where they stopped and had somebody take the picture. So she started this big rumor that they had gone and eloped.
Oh, wow.
And so there was this big
scandal.
Hullabaloo. Yeah, it was a scandal. That was considered a scandal. So that's how they got together.
Scrambled eggs and strawberry banana French toast.